Hey everybody, today is December 12th, so we'll be looking at MTG stocks December 11th. We'll see that Drop of Honey, which we looked at last time, has gone up. This is the biggest price increase, which isn't too much. I mean, well, I guess consider that it's like a $40 increase because of the price, but the percentage isn't too bad. Hardened scales keeps going up. We've seen this before. It was like $3 or $4 not too long ago, and now it's going up to 10, which is crazy. But that could just be based on the set. Let's see. So we have a few cards we'll look at here. We'll look at some of the lower price stuff. Pithing Needle keeps going down, it seems like. And then, let's see, down here, we see that Secret Layer stuff has kind of been slowly going down some more, like we said last time. So, we'll go ahead and look at our biggest price increase aside from the first two because we've seen those before. That's Austere Command, which costs 4 colorless, white, sorcery. You can choose 2 of these things, which is destroy all artifacts, or destroy all enchantments, or destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 4 or greater. So, basically, this gives you a lot of choices and a lot of versatility. So, if you are going a white weenie deck or something, this allows you to have destroy everything with 4 or greater. So, if you're doing a lot of tokens and smaller creatures, this is great because you can just wipe out those. But if you get to the point where someone has more tokens than you and you can't control it, this would be great because you're like, okay, well, now I have that versatility to destroy those as well. And then, of course, you have artifacts and enchantments. I think this is a pretty nice card in general. Let's see. We're going to start something a little bit new. And it's going to actually be looking at the trends on these every time. So I'm not going to go back this far. But as we can see in the past little bit, it's always been a decently priced card, but now it's just kind of slightly been going up over time. I mean, the price, I wish these commands weren't that much because I do like the commands a lot. But I can understand why a card like this is for the price because it's just so versatile despite its mana cost. As you can see here, it's gone up like, as I said, it's only been like 5% or something, so it hasn't gone up like a ton, but it's gone up a little bit. Let's see, Dread Return is a 2 colorless black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So 4 mana, return a creature card. Good for reanimation decks. But what really makes it shine is its flashback, which is you sacrifice 3 creatures, and then that's it. You don't have to pay any mana. So if you have a creature token deck or anything that allows you to sacrifice off creatures easily, like a reanimation deck, like this would be for, this is great because I mean, putting this in your graveyard probably wouldn't be too hard, or even just using it wouldn't be too hard. And there's a lot of ways to cheat out stuff, and yeah, I really like this card in any kind of dredge or reanimation deck. As you can see, it's been slightly going up on at least this set, up to like $2-ish, and it's usually been about $1.50 for a while. So I actually kind of noticed that it seems like a lot of dredge cards have gone up. I know there, Hogak was there in what is it, Modern Horizons, and then it died off because basically they banned all that stuff, Hogak and etc. What surprised me is that all the dredge stuff is still going up. So I don't know if there's other decks going out there or if it's just always a popular build and prices are just keep going up because they don't have enough stock or cards to keep up with the demand. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is a reserve list card. This one went down a little bit. The Abyss, 3 colorless and a black enchant world, which is basically enchantment. All players bury 1 target non-artifact creature under their control if they have any during their upkeep. So everybody sacrifices. I think bury means sacrifice. But each player sacrifices a creature at the beginning of their upkeep. So pretty annoying for control, especially if you don't have like a ton of creatures, or if you have a sacrifice deck and you have tons of tokens, so you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be very annoying for Voltron commanders that you're going against. As we can kind of see here, we got about $500, and it spiked real high up here, which this was, this probably got bought out or something weird like that. And this was what, 2018? I think the reserve list, because this should be a reserve list card. It happened around 2017 and 2018 and got more popular. But then, as you can kind of see, it spiked up and then it started going down. So, a neat card, but not worth that $700+ to me. Let's see here. And then we'll go ahead and go to Sword of the Meek, which is 2 colorless artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 as equipped 2, and whenever a 1/1 creature comes into the play under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to play, then attach it to that creature. This is pretty solid. It's one of those cards where I probably wouldn't have thought too much about it, but especially like in a white deck where you have a lot of 1/1s, or maybe even like goblins or something like that. Small tribal in general would probably be decent. I think there's also infinite combos, and that's where it really comes into play. Basically, you like the main infinite combo is, you sacrifice Sword of the Meek, go to your graveyard, and then through some effect, you can create a token that's a 1/1. Once the token comes out, Sword of the Meek can come from your graveyard and attach to it. You sacrifice Sword of the Meek, make a token, blah blah blah, done infinitely. So that's probably why it's more expensive. But regardless, even if you're not doing infinite combos, it's nice because if you play a 1/1 goblin, now it becomes a 2/3 goblin, and yeah, it's pretty solid. I mean, for the price that it is, you probably are doing it for the infinite combo, I would say. But as we can kind of see here, look at the prices. So you get here into the 2012s, 13, 14s, 15s. They all were about $1 or $2, and then suddenly bam, 2016 it did a big old spike. And it kind of went crazy around this time, and then it started settling down a little bit, and then suddenly back in Throne of Eldraine, it actually started getting back into like the 30s, and now it's probably going to drop back down into these 6 or 7s probably. I don't know the exact reason why it would have spiked here. I'm guessing it's just because of, fairies came back, but I feel like a lot of like 1/1 creatures kind of came into this too. But there's probably a specific build here that really helped it. Maybe knights even. So that's probably what did it. But cool to see. Let's see, and then we should be going to our commander of the night, which is Sidisi Brood Tyrant. I think, I could be wrong on that. I want to say it's a she, but then I saw the other version of it where it's just a mono black card, and then it looks like a guy there, so I don't even know anymore. But regardless, it is a 1 colorless black, green, blue. So Sultai, legendary creature Naga Shaman. It's a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a mill 3 of your own deck. And then whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So this basically allows you to mill out yourself pretty quick using, there's the Altar of Dementia, I believe it's called, where you can sacrifice a creature and then mill 2. So basically you can, as long as you mill yourself once and you have Altar out, you mill yourself, potentially get a creature milled out, sacrifice it using Altar of Dementia, then hopefully get another creature out in those 2 cards, and just keep doing that forever. Mill yourself out, and then you maybe use Laboratory Maniac or something like that. Pretty solid plan there, but I just think it was a really cool zombie deck to play, just because it has dredge in it, zombie token generation. I think this incorporates a lot of mechanics that I like. So I'm pretty excited about this card, and I'll probably be making this deck after all the million other decks I have to make, apparently, for myself. I say apparently, but it's because of me. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the theme of this one. I plan to make like a dredge deck, and I think my friend is planning to make more of a reanimation deck. So it'll be pretty fun to see the differences in those two. And then we'll go ahead and, speaking of dredge, talk about Stinkweed Imp. It's 2 colorless, black, creature imp. It's a 1/2 flying, and when it deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. So it's not quite Death Touch, because Death Touch just says that if you deal damage with this creature, and this one requires combat damage. But regardless, this is a 3 mana, flying, 1/2, more or less Death Touch. And that's just great to block out flyers. And then its main ability that you're looking at is its Dredge 5. So basically what Dredge is, I think I've explained this before, but if you draw a card, you can instead forego that draw and mill 5 cards on top of your deck to put the card that you want in your, the card that is in your graveyard. So if this card was in your graveyard, for instance, you mill 5 and then you put it back into your hand. So that's pretty much what Dredge does. And so if they have very problematic flyers, you can, your Stinkweed Imp blocks, kills off that creature, goes to your graveyard. Next turn, you can mill 5, put Stinkweed Imp back into your hand, and then play him again, and basically have another 1/2 flying Death Touch. Pretty solid stuff, and it gets through your deck pretty fast and puts a lot of stuff in your deck into your graveyard. So for reanimation decks or dredge decks or things that require creatures in your graveyard in general, it's pretty awesome. I mean, milling 5 is very good. It's very, very good. It's because a lot of the dredge cards are like 1, 2, or 3. It seems like Golgari Thug, I think, is 4, but the dredge 5 really does help. It's pretty nice. If you ever do have a dredge deck, this is probably one of the strongest dredge cards, I would say. It's Golgari Troll, but that one costs a lot of mana, and then it's basically just a big creature if you have enough creatures in your graveyard. It's a good blocker, I guess, and it can do a lot of damage, of course. And Golgari Thug is good to get stuff back from your graveyard. Those are like the main 3 to me, but he's probably the strongest, I would say, just out of utility, my opinion. But anyways, we'll end the night off with a couple of random cards, as usual, which we will go ahead and see random card number 1, which is Zombify. Hey, more zombies. So this is a 3 colorless black sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is basically just like Dread Return, except for it costs, instead of 2 black, it's 1 black, and then you don't get the flashback. So this is basically a worse one, in my opinion, of Dread Returns. But I mean, it's not bad to have if you have a reanimation deck, only because I'd probably put Zombify and Dread Return in my deck just because you might as well have the consistency, right? For the price too, definitely not bad. I like that. It's like a Raven. It's cool. I like that art. I like it better than this one, I would say. Oh, that's cool. I think the full art. It's an online promo though. Any other cool art, or is it just a zombie boy? It's like just mostly zombie boys. Alright, then we'll go to random card number 2. Wow, this is weird. Okay, so Shambling Shell. There's 1 colorless black-green creature plant zombie. You can sacrifice him and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and then it has Dredge 3. So that was weird that we got 2 cards that we basically kind of looked at earlier are very similar to cards. Neat, to say the least, but this one is okay. The fact that you can sacrifice but a +1/+1 counter is kind of like the way I'd probably use it is have him out there as a blocker, and then block something with it, sacrifice him, put a +1/+1 counter on something. The Dredge 3 is, if this was like a Dredge 4 or 5, I'd probably say this was actually really good just to get more cards in, but Dredge 3 is kind of, it's okay, but I don't think it's fast enough, honestly. Like, you really want to get those 4 or 5 dredges. But if you are doing a dredge deck, I honestly probably wouldn't put it in here because I think it'd actually clutter your deck more. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, this has the mechanic that I want, but when I really think about it, I'm like, it's a pretty bad card in general. So it's better to have, even though it technically fits the theme, it's better just to have better cards in your deck than bad cards in your deck that have the keywords that you want. My opinion, but seems to do better in that case. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time and have a good one.